and Na'Vi played on Train. Na'Vi won 16-11. Now, in that match, G2 won both pistol rounds, and Kenny, I believe, had two 1v2 situations to give them those 11 rounds. So, all in all, G2 didn't show, I guess, the strongest of showings, and maybe that's what Windigo are looking to exploit here. They have 3 over towards Ivy early, ready to take a duel. Very noisy players. They'll take some damage. The initial trade will go on, and they're actually going to get a TK, and Poison will find Amanek. And now Kenny lying in wait.
Not bad. Finds one. Blocker, though, he's already trying to contest. It's going to be a 3 versus 2. Lucky's low. That's going to be problematic. He has the kit. He's getting shredded. Poison and Blocker will close it out. 2 for each of them. And that's going to be Windigo with the first round. Didn't quite get the plant for the bonus 300, but no complaints.
Well, the TK, unfortunately, makes Bubble's scoreline look pretty bad, but the round was clean.
I mean, it's not as bad as Vertigo. You keep jumping off the map, you look like a right mug.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a bit of that as that comes into competitive play. It's in the grand final of DreamHack Open Rio right now.
Look at this. I always feel like the scouts, they just have such a niche place, but Train CT second rounds is one of them.
Yeah, for sure. It's similar usage as Dust 2. You can sit back with the scouts, get the tags on him, and it's going to be a quick inside play coming in from the side of Windigo. They're going to flush the low ramp, Molotov high ramp, and then an execute will follow. Lucky spotting them up. Should call over the rotation from the other counter-terrorists.
Yeah, no Molotovs for them, so they can't keep them at bay on ramp. A smoke, sure, that will keep them for just a moment. They have the long-range rifles. Lucky's going to try and get that smoke out. It's not going to achieve much. Jax does fall down, but Lucky's nade dunks on Blocker from the side. Ship strikes, and these fantastic AKs are going to do a whole lot of work, and Victor's one of them. Trying to hand out some damage, connects onto Shocks, but Kenny, he's been peppering them this whole time. He finally gets shut down, but now Amanek, he's been given a possible situation. Poison low, bomb down, but unfortunately for Amanek, it's just a CZ and 9 points of health.
It'll be a very difficult round to get back into, but if he can grab 1 kill here, that's more than enough. They've already done a truckload of damage. So
there is a kit as well. I'm almost certain one of them had one. Lucky, perhaps.
Just picked up a Mac 10 here. Look, at this point, this is a difficult round to win. I think damage is just on the agenda.
He might get poison. That's a fantastic start. Time becoming a bit of a problem. Now he does upgrade to the AK and a smoke deployed.
He wants to save it. You can see that he's already trying to find a way, an avenue out of the B bomb site, but he'll get taken down by ships here. Now, the interesting thing to note is that buy by G2 was able to do a lot of damage. You know, 1 player surviving. The bomb did go down for Windigo, so they will be able to reinvest. But if G2 wanted, they could full buy here, and they would have a very similar buy in a lot of ways. Obviously, you know, M4s, they'll cost a bit more. But they're going to take the conservative approach. They're just going to go for the light pistol upgrade. 5 HE grenades are purchased on in. Looks like team main.
Brown holes? Team main? Oh, it is. No one's going to be there to catch. I say that, actually. It's going to be Ships who meets his demise. Nope, just down to 71. The nades fly in, and now he's pushed up. You can hear all the steps. He knows he's booked to get a whole lot of cash here. 1 push towards Pop Dog. Lucky actually connects. Victor down. And that's going to put a Galil in his grasp. No Kevlar to be seen, though.
They already have a player hedging towards CT spawn right now, so Yard is open for business. They just need to take the bomb back through the white walls and come through Team main, and the avenue's clear. They're getting circled in on right now. Both Ships and Poison are on the flank with these Mac 10s.
And this is going to be dollar bills. $600 for Ships. He's looking for another. It takes it 1,200. I can do maths. As Kenny does strike with the P250 from range. It's still a 3v3, Chad. G2 are managing to keep things nice and awkward. Kenny, well, he keeps things awkward in his own way. Gets caught on the rotate with his knife out. And the bomb does finally go down. Lucky makes the Galil work. Now he's in a 1v2. The bomb is down, and another awkward situation with 3 rounds in and 2 out of 3. That's 66.6%, Chad.
Wow.
Thank you.
You've been using your calculator recently.
Recurring, of course.
I think that Lucky here, once again, is in a position just to do damage if he really wants to, but he's going to just be holding back towards T-spawn, maybe wanting to carry the Galil through until the next round. He might get a chance to take this AK away from Bubble. It's going to be
lovely.
Who reacts quicker, and Lucky gets the kill. Will even be able to scavenge the AK-47, and now he's just has to wait and hope that Blocker can't get close enough, and that should be no problems.
The steps. He holds his breath, and so do we. But Windigo, they're off to a flying start. The first 3 converted, and now it's time for the weapon rounds. Kenny's going to grab himself his signature weapon, and we are off to the races. And Org as well brought out this one of those powerful CT weapons. You really can use it to the detriment of your opponents if you are in the right place at the right time.
Shocks has picked up one as well here.
Okay.
So let's see if they want to use it aggressively towards that inner bomb site. We do have Lucky going close to low ramp, so it'll be both AWPs on the outer yard early here. as 4 members from Windigo are heading straight towards inside again. The pop flash for low ramp, the Molotov to discourage anybody over towards high ramp. And they're being very cautious here in clearing this, but the 4 of them so soon makes it seem like this is going to be a bit of an explosion. They have that MAC-10 kept in Bubble's hands. Posturing close low ramp already, so 2 members from G2 lying in wait early.
Smoke's going to be going out. If they choose to push on this smoke, Amanek should shred. He will, lines him up. Should be 2, is, finds the head of Victor. Belly button of blocker. From behind, Jax tries to strike, and my goodness, Shipsy catches Poison just as his teammate did connect. So now it's a 4v2. Oh, plucked from the air. Kenny's too quick for that, and Bubble just a MAC-10 and a Dream. No real chance of digging his teeth into the round. The bomb is loose. He can hit steps all around him, and if he can take a couple of AWPs away, I suppose it's a good day in the office.
He's in a very good position here to do a lot of damage. There's no way they're going to expect him to be pushed up here, so it's a matter of timing. Right now, scoped in on his position, will be shocked, but he's going to fall. Now Bubble has a chance to cause a little bit more havoc, but will get taken down in the back from Amanek, who grabs another in the round. So fantastic stuff. Because it was very light on noise in that yard, they had the, I guess, the hint to rotate another player over towards the inner bomb site. They were able to scavenge that AWP for Shocks again, so they'll carry across the 2, and now it is 3 AUGs, 2 AWPs, scopes are plenty. I think Windigo might have to opt for just a light upgrade of the pistols here. We'll see some Deagles getting poured on in. Flashbang in the hands of Blocker, and armor for Bubble.
The deco. Can I call this a deco?
Yeah, this is a deco.
Fantastic. My favorite. See how far they can get. Already Poison's going to rattle off a warning shot. Gives G2 a good idea of what they're up against. Actually, that nade could take him down if he's not careful. Oh, so lucky. 4 points of health, and those can keep them suppressed for now.
Yeah, this is one of those rounds where they have to hope they find ahead of a G2 player being a little bit lazy in their wide peaks or running across an angle that they thought was covered. It's a quick trade back. Amanek will fall to Victor, but Jax will take him down from the stop position, and now as they push it out into the AWPs, it should be pretty easy. Jax will finish off Bubble there. Now we get into the thick of it. Now we see what Windigo want to go with, because their first gun round, they had a Deagle and a MAC-10. That wasn't a full gun round. Here they should be able to get a more dangerous buy. Poison, unable to get the AWP out, will have to opt for that scout rifle, so let's see if he can find the same amount of damage. Headshots will be required if he does go toe-to-toe with the likes of Kenny or Shocks, because they can land a bullet in the body, they will fall. If he gets it to the body, it's going to do about 70 damage.
Yeah, there's a significant disadvantage. You do get some additional mobility, though, with the scout. Let's see how far they can push with this buy. It's still intimidating, and already a little bit of an attempted wallbang from Poison. His bullets are practically paper clips, but he still has a go. The bomb's still towards like T-Con, maybe even leaning towards Ivy. Flash is trying to Bubble some control, and so far the CT lean is very heavy towards the outer side.
Yeah, not up close and personal in Pop Dog this time round. They want to sit on back, and they do still have a decent amount of utility left. These AWPs are allowing them to stay gun out.
Calm before the storm. 60 seconds about to be on the clock, and I can see 3 smoke grenades starting to arrive. In comes the Molotov in response. Jax, a spectacular double. That's going to hamstring anything with the Molotov keeping him at bay. Jax isn't done yet. He finds another one from this kind of wide angle on Pop Dog. Kenny's there with support, and now it's just Poison. Does try and get rid of the scout, try and upgrade to the A-King, and does so, but that's just a first step in trying to stop this from being a seamless round from G2.
Jax has done an amazing job here, single-handedly just pushing forward as that wave of attack came in. Poison will find one onto Kenny. Can he get more done here?
You have to expect that trade. He hears it. Amanek punished for the push. 3 more to find, and Shocks will stop the bleed.
Yeah, they won't be able to pick up Kenny's AWP though, because Shocks was the closest. He had an AWP in his hands already, so unfortunately not able to wield 2 of the big green, but then we'll be able to get another one back on the board.
Wow, imagine that, like a Kimbo AWPing.
That would be wild. It's like Leather Julie's just one shot after the other. But we're 3-3 now as G2 have brought this one back to a tied ball game. Windigo are going to have to just go for that light pistol upgrade yet again. 4 Deagles and a P250 this time round. Still yet to see Poison being able to pick up an AWP.
Yeah, what is this, round 7? Maybe you'll get one by the time we get to double digits. Let's find out. It's a journey we can go on together, Chan. When does Poison get his T-side AWP? Deagles again, the deco. Fun to say, even funner to watch at times, but not today. Poison's already gone. Jax
Wow.
is still, I mean, they talked about his aggression. I didn't realize they were talking about the CT side as well.
He's loving pushing. I remember when we were watching them actually against Na'Vi, he did a couple of audacious pushes into team main that he didn't get anything done with. So today, finding a lot more success. Just to talk about that previous round, because this one should be mopped up any second. Normally, you'll see the CT team go aggressive first. You know, they'll lock down team main, they'll lock down Pop Dog, and then when their utility slowly filters away, they'll drop back because the wave of attack could be coming and they can get isolated. In this situation, Jax was part of a passive setup, and then when they knew they had a bit of wiggle room, they pushed forward, and he was just in the right place at the right time. That four-man attack coming out of team main just got absolutely obliterated by the Org, and he even got the guy trying to be sneaky beaky down the Pop Dog ladder. So now we're moving into round number 8, and this is where I would be expecting everything to be finally purchased up here for the side of Windigo. Poison has a choice. He can go for the glass cannon with the AWP. Instead, he's going to go for the Krieg with armor and some grenades behind it.
The poor guy, still no AWP, but perhaps this was more of a percentage play, as you could say, a percentage buy. He realizes that Kevlar and that SG is going to achieve a lot of the same things that AWP could have.
And it depends on what strat they want to run as well. If they want to do something a little bit more aggressive off the bat here, maybe that Krieg could be the play.
He has the scope, and he is going to be looking like to be the first on the scene. Amanek responsible for Ivy, and so far, he's done a sterling job. He has the support of Shocks because of this double AWP setup. It's still been working for G2. Keep your eyes on how they continue to move around the map. Shocks responsible for the Ivy/T con. He's obviously ready to lean on Amanek if he needs it. And the mollies and smokes are coming out. That's going to force a response from them.
Yeah, they're in a lot of trouble here, though, because they're stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. The G2 members are inside, which has left Amanek and Shocks with a big job to do.
No bomb, though. This could just be smoke and mirrors. Lots of utility invested, and they start their walk. They start to forge and assault. Amanek will be first on the scene. Shocks is positioned just a little bit towards T2. He's ready to try and catch the swing. He does so. Ship's gone now. Disappears. Relocates to a new angle. Tries to fall off. And now, actually, speaking of falling off, it is going to be Bubble running back to pick up that bomb. 3 versus 5. The numbers are heavily stacked against the Bulgarian side. Blocker's looking to change it, and he breaks his legs. That's a problem. Jax knows exactly where he's coming from. Crosshairs there, but the timing! The flash from Kenny S saves his bake, and he even gets a second.
That is wild. He shouldn't have even had 1 kill there, even with the jump in the moment. But Bubble, he will get the trade. Grabs the second one, Shock spams, and unfortunately won't find anything more. Windigo now down 5-3. Remember, this is their map choice. Just to know what we're all playing for here, it's more about pride as opposed to anything else, because Windigo will be coming back to play in relegation.
Pride is the prize at times.
Yeah.
Are you proud
Of which?
of your accomplishments, Chad? Do you feel pride, or are you not letting yourself feel proud?
It's not really an emotion I'm in touch with, unfortunately. No.
Okay. Maybe we can send you to the jungle. Hang out with some lions. Maybe you'll find your pride then.
Ah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here all week. Try the video.
Someone tweeted at me asking if I was just a good actor, or if I'm actually just fed up with your jokes.
I think the answer is
somewhere
50,
in between.
50,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm not a good actor, and
he's not a good actor, but he doesn't like my jokes, I think is the summary.
Well, we both tell terrible jokes. We're not comedians. If we were, we would be doing a different job.
Yeah, and you know the bad jokes are actually the safest because people will laugh at how bad they are.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. That's thinking. Tell a terrible joke, and even if they don't laugh at the joke, they'll laugh at just how terrible it was. Is this a terrible joke, though? Because once again, Windigo are forced into an uncomfortable economic situation. They will be trying to do damage with this one. They'll have money again. And Deagle's and a whole lot of utility. Looks like they're going to be in a pinch.
Yeah, they just want to hit inside again with all these nades that they've brought on into. That grenade is going to do a massive chunk of damage to Blocker and Victor, but they just want to pounce and push up with these CZs, Deagles, P250s, and see if they can swarm the rotating CTs. But once again, already 3 on the side.
Okay, I'm having straight up deja vu. Is this the same round, the same result? You throw the smoke, Amanek takes that as his cue to set up his aim, and Ships, he'll try and make it an imperfect round, but my goodness, it looks good from G2. 6-3, they deal with that handedly.
G2 absolutely reading these rotations right now. They had 5 players on that bomb side.
I think Amanek's saying the same thing as me. He's just giggling.
It's the exact same place, probably the exact same players that he just killed.
Probably.
They've looked at the way that they run that strategy. Let's see right now. The AWP's out in the hands of Poison.
Here we go.
Will they go for something a little bit quicker, or will they just allow him to work with that AWP? So
they're up 5 scopes on the CT side right now.
that's not enough.
Get the coach involved. Put a scope on his head.
Okay, so once again, a direct play over towards inside. Poison!
Oh, he tried it. The first AWP of the T side from the Bulgarians, and it's gone horribly wrong. Lucky sprays down 2. It is only a 2v2, though. They can slow down if they want to. He's not showing any signs of slowing. Willy Wonka would be proud. And now Bomb going to be going down. The Molotov could have been spent towards the site. Ship has been tagged up and fragged up. Shock zips up the Bobby body bag, and now just blocker. Oh, that's perfect. Makes it a 1v1. Catches Shocks in transition. Amadex, it's a flick. Not known to be an AWPer, but thrives.
Look, they needed something.
Finally.
And if Poison's not going to get it done, then I guess Blocker will do his best impression right there. So big round to win.
I quite like the setup, though. That's the first time we've seen G2 do that. Lucky pushed up on the little jump, the little ledge on ramp. Kenny peeking aggressively. You're almost guaranteed to get 2.
The replay of this little situation just unfolding.
Licks onto the head.
All right, so we're going to see some opening smokes towards the outer yard right here. They went for that direct approach towards the inner bomb site there, and that paid off. And once again, they're going with that setup 3 towards inside. Jack's a high ramp. Lucky pushed up on the ledge, sitting anti-flash, and Kenny, he's spotting for info.
Flash is enough for Kenny to go away. Lucky's not affected. It's a fantastic little crossfire. Jax can go wide if he needs to on Brown Halls. Now they retreat, and they pay very little for this slaughter. Blocker's low. Molotov's fantastic to aid Kenny's retreat. And now G2, they've just ripped them apart. They take the early frags, and they haven't had to pay a cent for it.
Yeah, it's very difficult now for Windigo to find a way in, unless opening kills are offered up like that, as Shocks, he'll drop Poison, and now it becomes even more dire.
Blocker, he's feeling it again. Saved the day with it before.
He wants the AWP. That's maybe he wants the new role. Because what, Poison, he's had the ult once, and he hasn't got anything
Blocker
done with it,
has more ult
unfortunately.
frags than Poison right now.
Yeah. Well, I think that Blocker's about to get pounced on any second, because Shocks is going to use the overextension here as a reason to fly on up that ladder and take his head off.
As soon as he finds a bullet, never mind.
The bomb's dropped as well.
Ships, he's going to get flanked in about 3 seconds. 2 and 1. That's the end of that. 7 now for G2 on the first map of this best of 3. If you have just joined us, this is G2, a team already locked in for the Pro League finals. They're going to Montpellier. They managed to dominate their group, a group full of big names, the likes of Na'Vi and Fnatic, alongside Windigo, and have been undefeated since they arrived here in Leicester.
So they've got 1 AK in the hands of Blocker here. 4 Deagles to go along with it. They're just hoping to find some kills, because in terms of impact, in terms of territory, Windigo are having a very rough time. They're not establishing anything with opening smokes. They're not trying to set precedents. It's hard for them to bully any part of the map, because G2 keep doing interesting plays.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that works.
Shocks, though, he could get pressured here. They're not addressing it. Victor's just trusting the crosshair, and he was right to do so. Takes down Shocks. Now they know where Jax is. They've known almost every round. He's been playing Pop Dog. Hyper-aggressive. Occasionally turns up at T-Con. Lucky's aggression is going to be rewarded as well. Down to 52, though. A Deagle bullet did find him in the process, and now Victor could maybe convert. Molotov burning his toes. He's cooking, down to just 8. He's got a fantastic tan, courtesy of the Molotov, but unable to frag much more.
Like, he must know that he could have snuck past here, so I don't think that Victor has too many more moments left in this round.
Do you want to try and count down? Put a number on it. What do you reckon? I think he's dead in 9.
He might even get the plant.
8.
Oh, he's not going to get the plant.
7.
Oh, Lucky
6.
wants to knife him.
5.
Knife him,
4.
Lucky.
3. Fudge.
He didn't want the style points.
Yeah. Could have got a $1,500 ooze.
Well, that's okay. I guess they're winning anyway. So he wants to keep it as above board as possible. No BM there. Wants to finish the round, get it done and dusted. Can appreciate a man who likes to get it done quickly.
Chad, I'm sick of you spreading this propaganda on the microphone. Your personal agenda is irrelevant on this broadcast. Chad Sponge Burchill of Perth, Australia.
That's C-H-A-D.
Burchill.
All right, well, 4-man A-Lean, and
Like
they have
the
the
boost.
AWP.
They're trying to catch an aggressive peak on that train. That's not really where the AWPs have been leaning. Shocks admittedly does play towards Ivy with that second AWP, but not today. And now aggression from him. Amanex the one on the second Zoom banger, and Jax again with the push. I'd be getting so furious. He just keeps getting away with it.
Yeah, Yeah, they're having a very easy day at the office right now, G2. I know the scoreline's 8-4, but a lot of these fights, a lot of these gun rounds has felt like one-way traffic.
Chad's really well versed in the highway code, by the way, if anyone's interested. He's can help you with your practical, your theory. Steps, he knows it. Shox is going to strike from behind. They weren't ready for the smoke to clear. That's a shake of the head from Shox as he smirks and finds one. This is a tough battle for Blocker. Lucky he can just dip in and out of that fight whenever he wants, courtesy of the oil train, and now just Victor.
It's a lot nicer what we're seeing out of G2.
This is beautiful, isn't it?
On their CT side versus the side of Na'Vi, they were only able to pick up a total of 6 rounds. And this time, they've already managed to put 9 on the board, so things are looking a lot better for them here. And remember what I said, they had both pistols last time they played Train. And they needed Kenny to clutch a couple rounds.
This is, I mean, this is a reformed G2 CT side. Lucky has been looking spectacular on inner. Jax, you put this, I mean, it's the perfect position for Jax and his playstyle. It's the same as Phelps, you know? Phelps has a similar kind of mindset. He wants to get under their skin. Interesting, we can actually hear the... That's a rare opportunity. We actually get to hear the call.
So, as I mentioned before, Shockwave is the coach. He's actually from Ukraine. So, I don't believe he would be speaking Bulgarian. I assume that they will do their dialogues in English. So, he's just helping out Bubble, who, uncharacteristically for an in-game leader, is sitting down the end of the row as opposed to in the middle. Yeah,
so it's, I mean, it's all personal preference. A lot of people prefer to have the in-game leader in the center, just so it's in terms of communication. You can kind of make eye contact and you're close to everyone if you want to have a conversation, despite the presence of a TeamSpeak and headsets. See his screen as well. It means he can see all of his players' screens within his eye's reach. Not the case for him. Amanek gifted the AWP for his responsibilities on Ivy. There is a flash coming out, but he manages to evade it, and already info on one crossed. Expecting perhaps a second. Will it be on the bins? Will it be a run boost? Looks like the latter. And the smoke could not have been better. Oh,
they're fluffing everything.
Yeah, it's flustered Windigo.
Oh, and the smoke as well. That's not where that meant to land.
Oh dear, it's salt in the wound at this point. Legs one.
What's going on?
Catches Bubble. He's got a gap. They're just lining up for him. Amanek, he can just walk away from this if he wants to, but he's hungry. He's already tagged up Poison, and he's going to get another. Everybody taking it in turns on G2 to have a spectacular round. Blocker was trying to get something started, but it's an ace from Amanek just to shut them up. His face is like dust off his shoulder. No problems. Doesn't have to look to Kenny S for an AWP ace. He can do it himself.
They're just offering. That was a really bad round.
Yeah,
that was a very bad round. So they were flustered, right? So they missed the run boost. So after the run boost was missed, then they've fluffed their grenade. It's hit the stairs. It's bounced up in the air. It's not even covering, you know, the mouth of Ivy. Yeah. They pushed on through, and they're pushing through a smoke into their demise. It didn't feel like there was any urgency to trade.
There, right?
Yeah, and I'm just curious as to what's... this is just going from bad to worse. Bubble's been hit twice.
Oh, finally, something goes Windigo's way. It's courtesy of Poison and his swift, flicky aim, but chips. He's been peeking the same angle, for whether it be Amanek or Kenny S. This time it's Kenny, but this time he's punished. Poison, he's pulling his socks up now.
It's going to be 2 here through the pop dog. This is interesting. It's one of the harder places to retake from.
This is an awkward retake for G2. Windigo could end on a bit of a win. But don't write the French out of this one. Lucky's taken his time. They do have kits on everyone and a boatload of utility. They have the chance to take this, especially if Poison loses this. Jawley's upgraded from his scout to the AWP, and it's been rewarded justly. 3 from Poison. Bubble finds the 4th for his team, and this round is as good as over. Shox is only going to confirm it as he dies on Pop. We have ourselves a 10-5 half. Still fantastic CT side from the French. Good to see Windigo are not down and out just yet.
Yeah, Poison actually getting some scoped kills there to round things out. Get that half looking okay for the Bulgarians. And we'll be back in a moment because we have to bring you the second half of Train. We'll see you soon.
The first half of the first map of the last series of Group B. G2 Windigo, it's on train, and a 10-5 CT half puts the French in a firm position to close out the first map of this series. They are undefeated so far here in Leicester. You can see the coach behind them, giving them their final pep talk as they're about to be jumping in to the pistol of the second half of train. Chad's joining me.
Couple of things to note here. Windigo, of those 5 rounds they did win in the first half, one of which was the pistol, which they went on to convert 2 of the following after that. A blocker 1v2 situation, and that last round where Poison finally stepped up with a 3-piece. They only managed 3 opening kills in that entire first half, did Windigo, so that's not a fantastic success ratio considering how they were being dictated to in the first half.
Yeah, we start our pistol off with an exchange on Ivy. Blocker brought down. He feels the weight of that Kevlar-less pistol round, opting for a kit and a smoke instead. Well, they're both useless if you fall before you can utilize them. Jax, he played Pop Dog on the CT side. He takes it on the T. Lucky shows face on the inner bomb site. Bomb's not there just yet. Instead, smoke out from Jax. He's going to be flashing with that. Now, where does the assault come from, though? That's the question we have to ask. He's maybe flashing, nading out. He's going to try and bait them out. And oh my goodness, Poison unflashed, unfazed, finds 2. Victor's posted up on the boost as well. Only 2 Frenchmen left, and already things are looking rather dire for them. They're starting to group up. Ships has even joined him in Pop Dog. That's a double peak you do not want to face. Blocker's already caught 1 from Ivy. This round is as good as over. And Windigo, I mean, that's a necessary pistol.
Yeah, that's both of them in this game. So now if they wanted to mount a comeback, they've given themselves the perfect platform to do so. The biggest question mark for me is, will we see the G2 roster willing to fight? Are they going to go for a force buy right now, or do they want to take a save and get those AKs up in the 3rd round?
The inner site still has its certain quasi-buy appeal, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It's just because you know that there's, even if there are 2 players there early, swarming them is a possibility. And the force buy, well, that's on the menu right now for G2. No Molotovs to work with, but they do have 3 smoke grenades and a bunch of flashbangs, and it will be the inside hit.
Shox is going to try and flash them in. His teammate wasn't... Oh dear. Okay, he did the flashbang dance, blocked Jax, but they're across and they are safe for now. Not too much of a sound cue made, given no one on ramp.
It is important just to note that the 2 players inside are playing retake. They're in the back lines.
And then note as well that they just pushed Ivy. They've got all the info. The rotate likely going to come in. They haven't cleared out T-Con, though. So it falls to Ships, and it falls right here, right now. It takes 2 heads off. There's no smoke to blind him. And Amanex, who's already, as soon as he exposes from that smoke, he's gone. Now as the bomb's loose, he can cast his eyes to the left. He has a go, but Poison's there. And this force buy has gone flat. It's flaccid, and the bomb, not in the hands of Kenny. Otherwise, he could be sneaking a cheeky plant. It did instead descend the ramp, and that's problematic. He has managed to wrap around to connector, but already pre-aimed, locked down. And Chad, what's your favorite breakfast treat?
Breakfast treat?
Yeah. Like if you're treating yourself, it's the morning. You know, for me, it's a glass of cold orange juice with some ice cubes. That's a breakfast treat.
Like are you talking about making this for yourself?
Yeah, or you can go somewhere and have it.
Because I don't make anything for myself.
Well, that's fine.
I don't have a kitchen.
Adulthood comes slowly for some. What would you have? What's your dream start to your day? I found a nice
cafe here in Leicester. It's called, I think it's Kai.
Okay, Kai Cafe.
Kai.
Okay.
And I've been going in there and ordering a stack of pancakes with maple syrup and streaky bacon.
Ooh, do you have like a kind of a hot beverage alongside that?
A flat white.
A flat white. That is a fantastic start to your day.
Yeah.
Fluffy pancakes, I hope. Thick.
They're delicious. They really soak up the maple syrup quite well. This is just a Hail Mary attempt, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You're not missing a lot here with us talking about breakfast.
Oh, that's collateral. My goodness. I think that did damage to 4 members of G2 with 1 nade. And Poison's looking to clean things up. There is an AUG on the loose, though, so keep track of where that one ends up. It's in the hands of Shox, the one man who didn't fall to that nade barrage. But Bubble and Victor, they are going hunting. Kenny's molly actually licks him with the flames. He's down. It became a 1v2 with Bubble tagged. My goodness. Yeah. G2 made something out of nothing.
Very dangerous there in the end. That was just the Glock with a flash and a P250 behind it. So more dangerous than the force buy that they went for in the previous. Just to note that Windigo changed their approach to holding against that anti-eco. If we remember, Fnatic actually beat them with 2 P250s and a bunch of Glocks just going dry inside. It was just bad timing for Ships. He's opted to play a very passive position.
No more MP9s, more AUGs. Yeah. I mean, you can't blame him. Ships actually does, speaking of, pick up the MP9 in this round, and then we'll see if he's responsible for any. He is. He's going aggressive towards ramp. Kenny tries the bang. But doesn't quite connect. that's just the dream for the angle Poison was holding, and that gives Ships a bit of freedom of movement should he choose to push for the info. And
free upgrade as well.
yeah, not too shabby. G2, they're running out of players already. Amanex looking to change that comes from behind. There isn't a threat just yet. They're stacked up. Victor, he's holding the angle, swings wide. It's a good trade.
This is doable now. I know that Amanex on low HP, but he is a force. The fact that his body is still alive on the map means that Poison had to deal with him.
Oof. Dunked but traded. Kenny switches to the AK to go close quarters. He's got the aim on
the leg.
Ships. Oh, he pulls the bomb. Oh, it's a harrowing 1v1, but Shipsy comes out on top, and very necessary frag, because we're going to have a real game here.
Yeah, well, now the scoreline's already up to 10-9, still in favor of the French here on their T side now. And
another weird one.
yeah, this is the thing that's possible. This is why we talk about comebacks maybe being more difficult with the most recent changes. If you're G2 and you're continuously doing a lot of damage and getting the bomb down or almost getting the bomb down, you're now getting the max loss bonus of 3,400 consistently, and you start building a bank of that. Even if you lose this round, you get 3,400, right? Everybody on the side of G2 is going to have exactly everything they need.
This is where Ships struggled, but struggle he doesn't, finds 3. Today is a new day. Kenny's going to get across with a bomb. Actually, that's a free plan.
Thing is, they need to get more kills here. With what I was just explaining, the whole purpose of this, even though plant comes in, that's nice, but you already had enough to buy. You need to do damage in terms of frags. One's not enough.
I mean, but the bomb plant, does that not counter things a little bit?
Not really, because they're already building, they were already going to get 3,400, right? So they already had a
you wanted to break the
you want to
CT.
keep the CT's money as low as possible. The magic number is 3. If you can kill 3 every single round, it becomes impossible for them to continuously drop rifles to every single member. Somebody has to make a compromise, and that compromise becomes the crack. And with that crack, the T's can find the round.
Right, so it's all about finding the crack.
Yeah.
10-10 the score. And we do have that buy that Chad's been talking about. An AWP on either side this time. Poison this time. Well equipped, and you can expect that for the majority of the CT side if Windigo continue to convert as they have done. Let's see where
AWPs, one on bubble as well tonight.
Oh, good. Worth noting, indeed. This is exactly the same thing that the French did oh so well with. Now they start to stack up towards Ivy. Looks like a flash from his teammates. Amanek going fast and ahead of the nades. There isn't a Molotov, but the smoke will keep them at bay. The shots will expect return from Poison, and they manage to get out of this line of sight.
Seems like they are going for, you know, very similar approaches, but while G2 go for the Ivy pressure, they actually have a member getting box holes control. So with Lucky pushed all the way up, at least he can act as a little bit of a canary in the coal mine to let them know if a push is coming, or he also retains that part of the map if they want to go back and execute there late. We can also see, if we look at the top left of our screens, that it is a retake setup right now on that inner bomb site. There's only one player looking towards inner, and that will be Bubble. So if it is a hit towards that site, he won't be able to do anything. But meanwhile, action on Yard.
Starting to crawl forward, hasn't been spotted. Yeah, I think he did. Crossed on Heaven. They're going to start the pre-fire block. This is the kind of things the Org can do. Blocker, he holds such a tiny, paper-thin angle. Manages to convert it into a kill, but Kenny dives down for his life, expecting Lucky to go big here, and he doesn't quite manage to get the necessary double. Now, caught from the side, Victor will find it, and we have the 11th. Windigo start to edge ahead.
Yeah, it's day and night, these halves.
Right?
Both the teams, right, looking like they're just willing to blow the other out of the server. When we reflect back to a lot of the rounds for G2 on their first half, they were just dominating, right? They may be losing 1 or 2 kills most. And then similar scenes right here for that of Windigo now. They're on their CT side. But Malik, the coach, he needs to speak up now. He needs to give some ideas. They need to work out a plan. And unless you speak French, Alex, I don't think we're going to pick up too much.
I'll have a go. Désolé.
What does that mean?
Bad. Boring.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, désolé means sorry, I think, actually. Excuse me. Désolé.
Why is he
Je suis désolé. I am sorry.
Why is he apologizing?
I don't think he actually was. It sounded like désolé.
Oh, I was going to say, did you know?
Or the soleil, which means the sun. Maybe he's talking about the sun.
Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Circus of the sun. Jinx, buy me a Coca-Cola or any other beverage. I'd fancy anything carbonated, to be honest.
Just drink water. We're doing this. If everyone's at home, make sure you're drinking 2 liters of water a day.
2 liters. That's just, you know, here's the maths for you. 4 500 milliliter bottles.
Yeah, and if you're from America, change your system, metric system now. Anyway, Ivy
12
aggression.
ounces? I don't understand how it works.
Going to be a bit of a biff here. Victor has to help block a fight. They have to commit to this right here. Smokes and Molotovs are going to be thrown on out in exchange. Damage being done behind the smoke. So neither team is going to know that they've put Victor down to 28 and Amanek down to 34 respectively.
Bogdan's Law, still in practice. Victor, given the AWP for his lower HP, chooses to back away.
Curious right now. They are still playing a retake setup towards inside. If G2 knew this, they could do...
I mean, Lucky hasn't ever been particularly investigative with his brown halls.
His job in the default is just to hold on to the territory. So unless the in-game leader or the coach gives them the call to go for that kind of a play, we won't see too much of it. But we will see them onto the yard.
Yes, and already Bubble catches Jax. Kenny, he's trying to storm forward. He needs to push Poison off a bomb train. He can't win the fight. Windigo, they're just looking oh so good right now. You can't win. You just try and take a sideline. There's 3 of them peeking. Every time you go from one side of the train to the other, there's 3 fights you have to be taking. Now, Shox finds 1. He's managed to solve this puzzle, but it's cost his teammates dearly. That's a precise kill, had to be. And, caught through the wall. Bubble. Secondary AWPer. Delivering.
This could be flawless right here from the side of Windigo. They're looking hot to trot right now.
They've got nothing. G2 have nothing to show for this T side.
With that last round they won to finish off the first half, they've been on a bit of a spree right here. What's that, 6 rounds on the trot? 7 rounds on the trot.
7 rounds without a stain on their record. They're starting to build up a bank, which is notoriously difficult to do on the CT side, as Chad was referencing and talking about earlier.
Yeah, one of the problems to me with these comebacks is that the Ts can continuously throw buy rounds or half buys at you, SMG upgrades, they can get utility on the board and they can continue to pressure you, but because they've been clean rounds, because G2 haven't been able to keep them very honest, I'm just having a look right here through the kill feed, see how many kills we've had at most. I think it's maybe 4 in 1 round, the others have been 2 kills max. So right here, Windigo have done a very good job of stabilizing. And they're not far now from taking the victory on their map choice before we move over to Dust 2, which has been G2's specialty even when Smiths and Existence were on the roster.
Let's not forget, G2 have an untarnished record right now. Yet to concede a single game. Perhaps it starts here for Windigo.
Wouldn't that be just the saddest way to go, right?
Yeah. Truly would be. Flash in, blocker, likely to convert, and does so. That's full control, that's full information. That might light a bit of a fire underneath these Ts, because they know that bomb could be retrieved by some aggressive CTs should they push. And yeah, you can see they're already on the way back. They need to retrieve it.
Here's the problem with this approach that G2 are going for. It's just a spread pick here, and with the aggression, we've seen Ivy play come in a few times right now for that of Windigo. If they get a kill, great. If they get the information, then they can hedge their bets and rotate accordingly. They also did a play in the early stages when they had that saved over MP9 with Ships close low ramp. They had another player behind him spotting up, I think it was Poison, and then they had a player over towards high ramp. So they've gone for similar setups to what we've seen G2 go for. It's been dynamic, it's been all over the map, and well, inside they come into the blender of the organ. 1-2 for Ships. Bubble will actually get the first kill onto Lucky there. Now this is where G2 need to actually show a bit of fight, or this will be taken away from them very quickly. They need to come up with a plan and an opening move to make sure that players have to focus towards that Olaf cutout or getting pop dog control very early to put pressure, and then trying to put pressure on Ivy. Ivy seems to be where Windigo are focusing quite a few of their forces early.
Here's a weird one for you, Chad. When things don't go right on the CT side, you opt for a double AWP. Well, how about a double AWP T side? Let's see how that goes. Shox and Kenny have decided to bring it out. Looks towards Stopper and aggression from the CTs. 3 of them pushing ramp. If there isn't a flash, one of them's already playing anti-flash. This is G2's setup. They did the same thing to them, but that close molly. Oh, it's perfect. This is a perfect fight, and oh dear, Blocker catches Ships. Lucky finds Blocker. Now all of a sudden the number advantage is heavily in favor of the French, unless Bubble can find a new spot to dig his heels in and keep the inner sights safe. And he doesn't have any information right now. They just know they were there. Shox is going to give them something. Steps and a flash smoke exchange.
Surprising there that they didn't just pounce on that inner bomb site. They must have known that the other player close low ramp was the AWP player, but they want to head out.
Oh, that's unfortunate for Poison, just as he tries to reposition, but he recovers, and he recovers in style. Out AWPs Kenny, Amanek. Oh, he takes the fight with so much confidence and conviction that Poison couldn't adjust. 3 versus 2, Victor.
Heard this.
You can hear the knife on the train and a glimmer of hope for Windigo still. Plenty of time. G2, they just hit the brakes.
I'm surprised they're taking this slow.
I mean, Bubble has the cross to that bomb. That's the problem. Shox has to be responsible to clear these sightlines, and he will do just that. Bye-bye, Bubble. Victor, he knows Amanek's there. He's been taunting him this whole time. Up and down, can't transfer. Shox finds it. G2, they finally get just a drop from this drought they've had on the second half.
Yeah, they were ready this time for the heads-up play that the Bulgarian side was throwing at them and able to capitalize. The TK...
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's quite a friendly little gift they've just given to G2 in that
I'm going to assume the flashbang was involved.
You have to go for that as well. So, like, if your teammate's in front of you and you can see the players behind him, sometimes you just have to take the shot, right? Sometimes you just have to go for it and hope that you can get, like, a spray down or something along those lines. But in this case, it wasn't to be. And G2 are finally being able to get around on the board here. So, see if they want to change things up. AWP in the hands of Kenny's over towards Ivy.
Couldn't have come at a more opportune moment. G2, they needed that round.
Yeah, and you can see right now the money, it's not fantastic. Blocker, he's going to have a big fight on his hands right here against Amanek. Tagged on up, now needs to drop back around the corner. He will get away with his life and the kill.
I mean, Amanek was looking to try and do some sort of bait and switch, show presence Ivy and draw the CT's utility out. They've done it. Another Molotov chased their smokes, so they're pulling some nades away from the CTs. They start to gather. Ships is actually on top of the inner train. The bomb site itself. It's a good angle, but the flash eats him. He's going to make the drop. Here, his legs break. Lucky still can't connect, but a quick trade. Jax needed that. A necessary frag to get site control. The bomb's not there yet. Looking to cross. Shox in the meantime, trying to catch a glimmer over the top of the smoke. Jax's aggression rewarded again. Looks to duck into cover, and now has Kenny for the long-range fight. This has worked so well. G2. Very likely to find the 12th unless something mad happens from Poison. It won't. Kenny finds himself his second of the round, and we have the 12th on the board for G2. Going all the way, I think.
They just wanted to keep it close, so they waited. They thought, we'll let them get back into it, and then we'll start winning some rounds. But when they have room, it feels like they know what they're doing, right? It's just when they were unable to get into any space, they were just being locked out of everything. So Malik, he's called for another timeout here. And there it is. It'll come through late. So just a couple of things to note that what like coaches who are pretty seasoned would be looking to do is you would let your in-game leader maybe talk for the 20 seconds of freeze time, then get him to call the timeout just as freeze time is about to tick on down.
And then
get your 30 seconons.
Then he shares his insight.
Then there's another 20 seconds of freeze time.
That's the play.
Yeah.
That is the play. You just bought yourself a double timeout.
Yeah. So there's lots of time to talk, and Shox receiving the orders, or at least having a chat about what seems like the next play. Maybe we get Malik in for a bit of a quiz after.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear his thoughts, actually.
Ask what he says during the timeout, see if he has anything.
How much insight are you providing? Is it more of just a kind of identifying tendencies? Are you spotting gaps? I mean, bearing in mind, his perspective isn't ideal.
I'm not sure that's allowed, what we've just seen happen.
Tactical timeout from Windigo in response. Yeah,
I'm not sure if you're both allowed to call. I'm going to seem like an idiot here if you are. I didn't think you were. Maybe you are.
Definitely can, apparently.
Did Rush say that?
Yeah.
He's not talking to me, just you.
Just me. He wanted me to know that you definitely can.
Really?
I guess it just doesn't happen often, right? Because the other teams, they have an opportunity during your timeout.
Yeah, I guess you can't string more than one of your own timeouts together.
But what's happened there is simply they're like, actually, you know what? That's a good idea.
We'll take a timeout too.
Yeah, I like this conversation. I need another 30 seconds to finish it. And they do. So we are diving into it. It's time for round 26 in our first map of our final series of Group C for the 9th season of Pro League. You are listening to Sponge and Machine. We've got ourselves a full buy for one of the two teams attending. Windigo are going to have to try and do the very best they can with some compromises. They're expecting to go full buy into the next, and so potentially conceding the 13th, going all level, trying some aggression. I like this from Amanek. He's supported way downtown, though, as well from Shox's AWP. Double AWP T side, and it's worked.
Yeah, they've actually gone quite aggressive for Ivy time and time again. Amanek's position, even though he can't see anything, he can also hear if players are making a lot of noise in the yard position towards the cutout.
Oh, I think they might flash it. Shox is kind of posturing with a flash in his hand. He wants to flash Amanek round the corner.
Poison
this
is
all about timing. Who pulls the pin first? There's the flash. Amanek's doing the dance, and they could get two. Just the one ducks into the corner for a fresh mag. Now Shox, he's pre-aiming one. Kenny's taking this as a cue to get the hell out of Dodge. You can't blame him. Inner is completely open, and the bomb's on its way there too. Shox, all he has to do is just try and survive.
He's stuck now.
He's gone. That's an AWP in the hands of Blocker for the retake. Oh dear. Oh, Victor. They're lucky. I mean, lucky is lucky that that was Victor with a USP. Jax has showed up now to provide some support. They haven't checked Poison out.
Flank.
If he waits for this flank, they actually have a chance to win this one. Kenny's low, does fire off a warning shot, trying to reposition. Poison's loud, charging towards him. It's one bullet will do. Oh God, Kenny, you haven't got the health to be taking these fights. He still does bubble.
Good plant.
Oh, it is a good plan. Jax is still taking the fight long range, and he does thrive. My goodness, they made a lot out of nothing there. Windigo, an MP9, a couple of P250s, it goes one-on-one.
They were so patient towards Ivy. I wonder what the cue was for them to eventually flash and go.
Yeah.
Because they both just sat there in a bit of a stalemate formation.
I mean, was it something as simple as just, like, what's the word, intuition?
I guess at some point you want to just flash for the information, because if they're on the other side of the map ready to set up for an in-air execute, then you need to get over there as quickly as you can. But we've just gone back to a single AWP now. Amanek only with a MAC-10 in his hand, so I'd be curious to see how they want to use him. It's fast nades towards the outer yard as Jax gets up on the train and gets mowed down very quickly.
I mean, this is tough. This is the price you pay for a aggressive fragger, is sometimes you have to play 4v5 and there's still 90 seconds on the clock. Now 2v4. The only frag coming the way of Lucky. He was very precise on the swing from Popdog, but the trade was there.
Yeah, this is a difficult one. Shox is going to have to really work this round. Amanek, as we mentioned, he doesn't actually have a lot to work with. Has to see if he can find an AK and transition towards Team Main, and instead he'll get an AWP. So on board with Shox here.
Oh, I like this, though.
He might get away with this.
Oh, especially with precision like that. Deletes him. Bomb will go down. Who's rotating? It's Amanek.
Amanek.
He has the Popdog push at the moment. He can kind of just let Shox focus on what's in front of him.
Shox should just play this like a 1v3, just to assume that Amanek's not in the round.
Warning shot. Let's take the fight. Bubble shuts him down. Amanek, this feels like too tall of a task. Too big of an order. He can't fulfill it. He's still very paranoid about the Popdog. And
only one kit on play.
Could be problematic. A 10-second defuse likely. If he can find poison, he's defusing. Oh, it's over.
Saving.
GG.
All right.
14 then for Windigo.
Curious save, considering they can buy. Surprised he didn't just have a crack at the round and just see if he could do some damage and try and take a couple more guns away, but instead opts for the extremely conservative approach. Can get that AWP in the hands of Kenny. You see what I mean? Kenny had 6,300. He could have bought himself an AWP.
And you think the damage... oh, gosh. If he'd killed a couple more players...
Yeah.
Wow,
maybe he didn't hear the defuse? I don't know. It just seemed like an odd play considering the circumstances of an hour 13-14 scoreline in the hands of Windigo here.
Okay. Let's find out how this one plays out. There's a lot of investments on the round tonight. 28 is the number we're at. Closing in on the magic 30, looking for 16.
It's inside fake here. They've thrown that very deep connector smoke, and they've tried to keep these inner players honest, which has rotated a secondary member over in the form of Bubble. But this up-close play towards Team Main could be a problem.
Victor, it feels like a one and done where he stands right now. Blocker is there to support him from high heavens. Nice work from Amanek. He managed to take Blocker down. Poison. Oh, not quite nailing the nade. And now Bubble holding connector. Kenny gone. This is actually looking so good for Windigo. Lucky, he's been walking out of Popdog. They must be conscious of it.
Jax is still watching flank. What are they doing?
Amanek's managed to win a duel with no health onto Poison, and that's just going to give them away. And he's even rotating back. He just walked to Ivy, tap, tap, see you later, and now starting to regroup.
This is where Windigo might have to consider the save. I know the round still seems very winnable, and Chips' swing makes it even more so now, so the save will be off the menu.
So what we got here is a very low health Amanek, who has done more than expected to contribute to this round. 30 seconds, and the bomb will be picked up. They've got the freedom to do so, rather. Bubble has a very prime position to stop a plant, but Amanek, he keeps delivering. No health, but it doesn't matter. Winning 2 fights with 10 points of health, and he's even pre-aiming. He almost knows it. Ships is about to peek in, and Amanek with 4. Sensational work when it matters. The new addition. He's barely had a couple of weeks to play with the G2 roster, but he digs them out of that hole and brings them the 14th round.
Yeah, good awareness there. I think that if Bubble had held off from picking connector and just allowed Ships to push for information, then he could have swung out later, but wanting to find the information, the in-game leader, he will get punished in that situation, and now they have to buy for their lives here. Scout, MP9.
Double Scout, yeet.
Famous. The best gun for the CTs right now is the AUG. It has head armor behind it and a flash in the hands of Victor, so he's going to need to do something mammoth.
Glass cannon Scouts as well, G2. They've managed to dig themselves out of this hole. And Lucky, he's looking to go straight towards that AUG. That is, though, the power player. It's Victor. And there we see the Scout tag come in. Jax is going to finish off what Amanek started. He even catches another. Shreds through the absent armor. And maybe a boost here. Going to try and get Blocker up with the FAMAS, but oh, it's gone a bit awry. This setup looks good. Lucky towards Popdog. Kenny has the connector push. You may even see the barrel of this FAMAS if he's not careful. No, he didn't, and now shut down. 2v2, looking to jump up, trying to find Lucky fast. Info found on one. But Blocker, he wasn't ready for the swing on green. Ships is going to try and tickle the bomb, try and draw the players out, and he's doing just that. Looks for Lucky, can't find it. 15 now for the French, and this is looking like they've managed to turn it around and stabilize just in the nick of time.
It's amazing how quick that bank that we thought that they had built just evaporated, Alex. So the thing is, they went on an absolute spree of rounds. How
many are we talking?
Look, 2, 4, 6, 8?
8 rounds back to back on the CT half.
And they were their bank, you know, they were unable to build anything that could sustain them through the rest of the game, because as soon as they lost around 1,400, 1,900, 2,400, then they go and they win one. Okay, well, that puts them back down to 1,900. So the tail end of the game, yeah, the CT's really not in a friendly position whatsoever. And going into the final gun round, we're seeing them with basically nothing to work with. It's going to be just some upgrades, probably CZs. We can't actually see right this second, but I would assume that they don't have too much to work with. Maybe they'll go for scouts once more. But G2 on the back of Amanek's big plays have put themselves in a position to take map 1 and are looking good to continue their winning ways.
Yes, but we've seen the way Counter-Strike goes, Chad. It's always those hectic SMGs, a FAMAS, some crazy scout plays. Someone can turn this round on its head. But the predictable conclusion would be in favor of the French. Let's see if Windigo can tempt fate.
Looks pretty direct towards inside right now. 4 players part of this caravan towards the inner bomb site, while one member of Shox is just throwing some grenades over towards Ivy.
Bombs heavily in Brown Hall. Shox is going to be coming up the rear. So typical play will be a deep smoke. Tagged up by the scout, though. They weren't anticipating this, and already that sightline is being punished. The smoke a little too far gone, but Lucky and Shox already filling the kill feed. This is good. 3v4. Weapons and numbers favor G2. Victor trying to close this gap, trying to make that MP9. It gets more and more viable at every step he takes, and he takes down Amanek. It's going to be Lucky gone too. Could this really be OT? Shox has to save the day. There's 3 of them. He's only going to get 1. The USP with a Molotov. It's so premature, but Kenny beheads Bubble. 1v1. He takes the fight. He doesn't need to. My goodness, he's so ready for the fight. He's so ready for the fight. Victor's going to take us to overtime. Kenny, he could not process that much information. He was overwhelmed. Yeah,
a lot was going on in the final moments of that round right there. The defuse will come through, and Windigo, they hold on. They take us to overtime. We had the stat of what? I think I said 1,200 rounds had been played thus far. Well, add another 30 on top of that. We're going for even more.
OT, OT. There's so much love when we go OT, because I love them. I love them.
Well, at least it's exciting Counter-Strike, right? And this, you know, with these teams going all the way down to the wire, people coming into this thinking neither squad really has anything to play for. Well, they have a lot to play for, because they're both teams with something to prove. Sure, Windigo have to come back for relegation. G2 are already through to the finals, but in terms of where their place is in the Counter-Strike world right now, they're still jostling for position. So double ops, that one's going to come out early. Bubble and Poison once more with the 16K in overtime here for ESL. You should be seeing gun rounds the whole way through.
Look at Blocker standing his ground. He's Molotov flashed. A second flash thrown his way, but he holds an aggressive angle. He's hoping that Poison will bait for him. Poison takes a shot, or not even flash for him. Amanek, he's going to be on the receiving end and does go down. Backs away. Blocker has done them dirty. I don't think Shox can really try and battle for anything more in IVV. If he goes down, if they were to re-aggress, he loses the bomb, they lose the round. Kenny's going to try and provide some support, understandably.
Just curious as to what a solution could be here, because Windigo keep putting a lot of pressure on Ivy, right? They keep either going for information plays, or they have 1 to 2 members over towards that side of the map early. So if you just have somebody from G2 go, Amanek just throw a couple of grenades, doesn't have to do too much, can hold those players there. If they go aggressive, then he just has to be in a safe position so he can fall back and dodge their flashbangs. If they had a smoke wall that they could use towards the outer yard, the isolation smokes that we were talking about with the connector smoke and the Ivy smoke, and then from that point, maybe look to close in on some members.
Shox has just charged out. He's not going to check on top of the train, though. Poison's still standing there. Now he tries to flick. This is getting a bit awkward. Jax finds Poison on the green train. Now they know Bubble's on side with an AWP. They can punish that. They're going to go towards E-Box. This is such a good angle from Lucky. He could get 2 here. Ship's there as well. Looks to line up their head, but can't. Kenny 1v2 with 10 seconds left. Doesn't have the bomb. doesn't have a chance. Blocker, Windigo, they take themselves the first round of overtime. And don't opt to take the AWP,
Yeah,
actually.
there's no need with the 16K. You should be pretty safe to reinvest into those, especially after winning that first round. So you can see right here that Poison has 3650, Bubble has 40,
I guess you wanted the
450.
AKs.
Yeah, so also Victor could drop an AWP in the following, Blocker could drop an AWP, whereas the AK they can't purchase for themselves. They have to scavenge those.
You're speaking sense, boy.
Let's see if there's anything that comes out here from G2 which is a little bit more direct. When they've been able to find their openings earlier, they felt like they had a plan off the bat. There we go, that's the opening we're talking about. They've looked to have better stock in the round. So here, once again, Ivy will be dealt with just with some simple utility. This is why it feels like it should be a no-go zone, because they're not throwing their routine from behind the smoke. They're not trying to, use their utility against them here and work on out afterwards. They're just lingering and getting picked off.
It's, yeah, Amanek and Shox, this relentless presence towards Ivy, yet to net too much of a reward. Poison, I love that he didn't even rattle off a shot. He was full flashed. He chose to hold the angle, didn't want to reveal where he was holding from, but it does look like Shox has got a good idea and patience rewarded. Chips in the meantime connected onto Jax, so the AWP's on either side of the map.
But look at this. Lucky's already down low ramp. Like, he's already in the site right now, and the rest of the G2 members are
they're rotating.
quite a distance away.
Starting the walk towards Brown Halls, though. Kenny's on the way with an AWP on his back. Bomb on the back of Amanek. So Lucky's position, he has so much power here. If he was to just be pushing up, so patient. Fortunately for them, Kenny doesn't have to worry too much. He's getting scoped on and his toes shot off. Ships hits him in the Achilles.
Has a nade as well to Ship, so he could take Kenny out of the equation with a well-placed grenade here, but this is a difficult retake.
Ooh, Kenny, while he was caught scoping, Ships just jumps back up and says hello. Now Blocker starting to aggress. Lucky that smoke's going to clear. He's going to get punished. Could this really be a 2v4?
Have a Molotov. Oh, it's gone. They threw it already.
An early Molotov. We saw Kenny do that round prior. Fortunately for them, Amanek's going to dig them out of this hole. Ships, he's just a little too low to really threaten. Amanek should take this down with a double peek, and yeah, that's the end of that. Do you see that cheeky little attempt to fake? Trying to pull the scope.
Seeing if it'll keep them away, but not enough, and G2 will bounce back with a round of their own, so means the last round, yeah.
He was giving some credit to Lucky there. I mean, that was a lot of... can I describe it as a lot of map control? He'd achieved something by being down ramp already.
Yeah, look, his position right there is quite threatening, but it's also very dangerous because when you're stuck behind that train, you're not quite sure where the eyes being trained on your position are. There's some things to keep in mind that not all CTs necessarily look at the low ramp. They'll play different angles towards the oil train or back of the bomb train where they cover the push into the site as opposed to coming down the ramp itself. But gets away with that one there, and with it able to secure them the victory.
You'll never guess who's vying for Ivy control. It's the Shox and Amanek show.
Yeah, they're just defaulting at this point, right? This is just a spread pick coming out from G2 across the map. They're thinking that they can work against the double AWPs of Windigo in the hands of Poison and Bubble, and they can win the duels. And if they do that, well, then they can simply win the round. But it's not as easy as that. It's not as simple as, hey, let's just walk in and hope we find the kills.
I mean, Ivy is such a point of contention on train, right? If you get Ivy control early, if you pick up that frag early, the CTs, they have to play paranoid. They have to be conscious of so many other avenues that they can be approached from. It makes things difficult. You get under their skin with 1 or 2 frags. But you have to work so hard for it. These guys are no slouch. They've got nades, they've got corners. They will make you sweat. And now, Blocker, perfect little peek from him. Amanek trying to jiggle. You can't jiggle a direct peek. Blocker had the timing right. Now Shox is coming, and M4V AWP. His does more damage, but the bullet did connect into the brain of Shox.
Have to go outside here and up and over. There's Poison finding a kill. Kenny will find one in exchange. Now we have a 3-on-3. Time was going to be the enemy, but
so good.
Look at him go. Can he find more? Kenny with the leg shot.
Shox switches to his deagle. The call's been made. He got tagged. Shox surely doesn't want to try and fire through the traces.
Surely.
And now all on to Victor. The damage done by Kenny, but where's the bomb? Lucky's going to be getting that one down. Short. So brave from Victor. Just reloading in front of the smoke. Shox was waiting for the sound cues and the tracer fire to build an image, a mental picture in his mind as to where the Bulgarian was hiding. Right in the smoke was the answer, and we have ourselves a 17-16 first half of our first map's OT.
Yeah, if we take a look at the frag distribution for both teams, it's relatively close. Kenny leading the way for the CTs on 26, and down the bottom is Jax on 22, so a disparity of only 4 kills there. And over on the other side of things, I think it was 25 for Ships, and then Bubble, well, yeah, he only has 17, but all in all, it's been a pretty even fragging distribution game for everybody involved.
Certainly has. I mean,
look at Poison's ADR is only at 55, right?
his kills, though.
Just so people note that the AWPer, right, a lot of the times, the player's low, striking him with the AWP.
You're only getting the damage you've done.
Yeah, the AWPer's shot usually gets the kill, so he's not, you know, picking up the same amount of damage as what a guy, you know, with an AK who spams somebody down to,
you're not tanking
10 HP or something along those lines.
And we've seen a whole lot of those nades as well. Take note, you land one of those collateral nades we saw towards T-Con, you've just got yourself an extra 200 damage that round.
So what we saw G2 doing in their CT half was they had that 3-man piece, and they also had Ivy aggression. So both teams with very similar CT moves.
Oh, it's fast. Lucky, I think he's done enough. That's enough to stop it. They pull out the stop sign, and Shox's aggression, this time on Ivy, has been rewarded.
Yeah, now they're completely stuck. They have to go towards this inner bomb site. All they have is White Wall's control. They still need to garner the complete control of the box hole, which we're going to see them do right now. Now, we've seen them execute inside before, and Amanek in this position.
Not again. There's no way it happens again. Twice this game.
They want to go higher round this time. Two of them are going higher round minimum.
Yeah, but Kenny's holding that, and he doesn't miss. Let's see how they play it. Victor, a good smoke's going to enable him to drop down if there's anyone to receive him. He chooses to adjust his angle, and oh, they're smoking him off, but Amanek gets his 2! It happened again! I can't believe it. This time there wasn't the perfect...
It wasn't the lineup.
There wasn't the smoke lineup flash cue, but that puts them on match point. Windigo haven't quite resolved their issues on the inner take.
Just so people are aware, if you look at tendencies of the way that teams do their set pieces, you can see the flight paths, I like to call them, that you run. So they know that maybe people go down and this guy takes a wide angle as the first spawn. Or if you can identify those things as, oh dear,
you get knifed to spawn?
That's not nice.
Oh, I mean, it's a bad habit in matchmaking, never mind in an official game.
It's not the start that Windigo are looking for here, as they need to get the next 2 rounds if they want to take this to a double overtime. This is overtime number 9 now, I believe.
Of the entire season.
Yeah, so we're talking about games that did go into double overtimes, etc. But right here, right now, another competitive one as the execute towards Yard comes on in.
Jax, he's actually going to stay in the smoke. Kenny, it was revealed, tagged up, but Jax's patience is rewarded. A collateral, I believe, from Poison. Catches a second.
So much damage.
Poison is so low. Victor the same. Now Blocker pushing in towards the side, catches Lucky. He's going to try and fake that plant, draw out the remaining CTs, but Amanek's stalking Bubble. And in the meantime, Shox takes him down, which means that Amanek hasn't really revealed his position just yet. And that could be rewarded. Poison's so low. Amanek, he has to keep his crosshair there as he swings.
Oh,
but he's got across. He manages to get across, still visible to Poison and Windigo. They find 17. We could be looking at a double OT if G2 can't close it.
Yeah, the problem there with the AUG, as soon as you scope, you're giving your position away, just like if you have the AWP or the Scout. It still makes a nice little sound cue there. So Amanek,
I feel like it's quieter though. What do you reckon?
I'd have to do some real sound tests. We'll have to set up a studio, get it vacuum sealed.
Well, we've got plenty of evidence to take a look at this round. 4 AUGs for the CTs. Kenny on his signature weapon and Poison on his.
We're going for opening nades this time round.
Ooh, Ivy once again a point of contention.
Yeah, it's strange how
Shox
both
and
teams are really prioritizing getting control of this part of the map here. So it's going to be the outside execute, main, and pop dog.
Gonna try and get their booties over. Shox is already over now. Jax going to be forced off. He's going to be hunted down. Shox isn't in a position to trade. He does now as he mounts the train. Jax looking to go wide, but Victor and Blocker are there. It's looking good for the Bulgarians. The bomb could likely go down. Kenny's can't contest. And already Lucky, he's a bit late on the flank. Flash is good. Blocker's doing the dance, and Kenny pops him in the guillotine. Just the head visible, still finds the bang.
This flank's going to be huge from Ships. They're not aware of it at all.
Oh, didn't choose to practice some trigger discipline. Instead, he shows his face, shows his hand. Kenny's predicting this. Oh, if he chooses to carry on, he's walking straight into his demise. Kenny, roll him back the years, pre-AWP nerf. He's swinging around the corner. Wow. He still makes it work. 2v2.
Oh, Kenny gave them a lifeline into this round, a chance to take this in overtime, but now it's looking dire. Poison and Victor, they're going to get that bomb down any second, and this 2v1 very difficult to do. No utility, low HP.
Just
making
I
noise.
love this. It's so brave. He's just going to walk and check E-box. He sees the
saw
gun.
the barrel.
He sees the gun. He sees the arm. He takes the frag. Victor down. 1v1. Kenny, he has the kit. He's got 3 frags in this round. He's looking to save his team from double overtime. Poison's pre-aiming it, though. Oh, and it's quick. We're going again. Restart, refresh. First map's not over yet.
Wow, Kenny almost pulled off a miracle right there, but unfortunately for the French, unable to get the much-needed round, the solo round they needed to take map number 1, the choice of Windigo away from them. Now, getting vocal, talking through potential strategies right here, because they have to do it all again. 3 more T rounds coming up for Windigo.
Let's see if we can see the degradation of overtime. It does happen. You start to see strategies change and develop.
Sometimes calling on the fly,
the call on the fly is a little different to what many expect. This is what happens when your playbook's entirely exhausted and you're playing against the same opponent, same map, same sitch. Same buy, trying to do something different. Lucky's going to Molotov the steps, but that won't stop them. They start to push, they smoke it out, and this is down to Kenny. He's already taken 1, Blocker's gone 2. There's only 3 of them before they've even got the bomb down, and now Lucky, he can start this creeping and crawling. There's 2 there, both taking the fight. Nearly takes both, actually.
Fast flank here.
He's so low, and Jax is already flanking. Poison, you're in so much trouble. Jax can't even get there in time before G2 clean that one up, and we have ourselves the first round goes to the favor of the CTs in this double OT game.
So they might be expecting the player to come out through main and pop dog again, because there's been so much of an Ivy lean going on from this G2 roster on their CT side. So if they send one player there just to throw those same default grenades and actually have more members up close and personal, they might be able to stop Windigo from getting any territory at all. But let's see where the gamble goes this time round. Who has the right play? Who has the right intuition on what the other leader will be doing? Because that's what it starts to talk about now.
3 Ivy.
That's the opening smokes to E-box and 5 lane.
Solo Ivy, they get the frag. Will this change things up? Do they pick up the pace, or are they so trained that Shox will be there as well? They choose to have some restraint.
So just what I was talking about, Bubble is 1 step ahead of Shox in this environment. Shox has gone, oh, let's just push team main and pop. And Bubble's gone, well, I think they're going to play close team main and pop, so let's go Ivy.
It works, and it works oh so well. Look at the CT setup. This is a very unusual approach. Lucky, he's got the entire inner site held aggro, and he has the support, albeit negligible, from Jax if he wants to go up that loud as hell ladder. Flashes ahead of him. Lucky has to get more than 1. It's just not enough. And we talked about that quasi support of Jax. It's going to work out in the end. He takes down Blocker.
He thinks there's more.
But the bomb's on its way. He's going through T-Con. Poison's going to clear things out very aggressively. He realizes he wants to try and take as much of this control, this free control, ASAP. Kenny's in pop.
It's
very likely he takes this one. Shox has managed to get himself wiped back to Ivy, but that's an uncharacteristic miss. He's going to be forced to back up. Jax is on the flank. It's kind of all falls to Shox here, and Ships has already taken him down. This looks good for Windigo.
Oh, they've heard Jax as well on this flank, so Bubble might actually not be in trouble. Flicks around.
Oh, he didn't even chuck it!
Kill, and that should be all she wrote. Kenny did have a good crack at clutching 2 rounds ago, but it's going to be even more difficult this time. Poison, he'll ring true with the AWP, and back and forth we go.
It's just 2 teams, inseparable. I do feel like this is a perfect embodiment of what we've been saying all week, Chad. Windigo are, you know, being done a disservice by feeling like they, you know, they've done so much. They've looked so good versus all of the teams in this group, and yet have nothing to show for it. They are already condemned to relegation matches. But look at the performance that they're displaying. G2, they're not playing in half measures. Don't foolishly give Windigo some form of excuse for the success they're displaying today.
It's curious to me that you know, G2 didn't simply try and feign the same level of Ivy presence with one player's grenades. They were doing it before where they had multiple people going hyper aggressive. You can just fake that aggressiveness early.
Sure.
Surprised they didn't try and do that. I think they thought the Amanek posted up with the AWP would be more than enough. Shox is going hunting right now for a kill, and he might be granted an amazing timing here to push on through. So it will be an inner hit, and he should have enough information for that.
The restraint from Lucky's Molly was really nice there. He didn't fall into the trap of just having contact ramp and immediately Molotoving. He still has it. And perhaps we'll throw it out as soon as he gets the call from Kenny. Kenny holding ramp aggressive. Lucky's falling back to use that AUG
3 inside again, Alex. Every time they've executed they've executed into 3 players.
They've got the read. And the read comes in part from Shox' aggression. He's clearing out almost T-Spawn at this point. T-Con, he'll have the call confirmation very shortly. Jax will likely get a wiggle on. And now the nades start raining in. Jax is probably going to start getting his Nikes on and start charging. Amanek, he's flashed off, but he's still managed to find a position there. Coming through the smoke now, he collects onto one.
That's the bomb.
That's the bomb. Oh, it's a meat grinder. The mollies land, they're separated, segregated. They can't frag, they can't do anything. Amanek, he's just got exactly the right angle. Smoke clears. And another one drops. Jax is going to find him now. Ships has to be a hero. One. Quite the second, anticipating a push. There's going to be 2 of them. Kenny, oh my god, he wants it. 8 seconds. No chance to plant. No chance to do anything particularly noteworthy. He's just going to have to try and keep hold of this AWP if he fancies it. And that is 20-19 as we swap halves.
All right, so let's try and theory craft what G2 might be thinking they want to go with here. We've seen them do the default spread. Amanek and Shox over towards Ivy working picks. You've got Lucky and Jax heading over towards the box holes, trying to grab some control over there. And Kenny, he gets to float wherever he feels the need. Team main has not really been somewhere that they've put too much pressure on. Kenny's gone for the occasional pick if he has the spawn. And their relative approach, you know, they haven't looked like they've had too many set pieces. This time they want to send 3 over towards Ivy. 1 towards team main and 1 just to feign that box holes control.
So Amanek and Shox' duo. Oh, have a trio. He's so brave. So ambitious.
I can't work it out.
Oh, and they're peeking into it. Poison's just having a field day. Chad is baffled.
But what are they hoping to achieve here? There's been multiple members holding Ivy for Windigo time and time again, and now 3 players have gone down at the hands of Poison. They've just played off of each other. Bubble's going to find one. Now it's just Jax.
Oh, dear. Why Ivy? Why?
I'm not sure.
Ivy?
Both teams have a real they
obsession.
I don't understand. I don't. You see it get used this much ever.
I mean, we certainly don't see rounds won and lost almost exclusively in this part of the map. It's happened on numerous occasions, and well, time will tell. Jax will tell if it's happening here. It's unlikely he wins this duel, and Ships confirms it. We have the 20th for Windigo. 2 rounds needed to close this one out, and now. Well, it comes down to this. Will there be an heavy Ivy lean again? The pressure's on the T's. You need 2 rounds?
Yeah. 1 round.
1 round?
G2 need 1 round, and Windigo need...
Don't have the score on my screen. I
2020.
apologize. 2020, make a wish.
So double ops are back out in play. Kenny going for a team main pick is going to be offered up 1. We'll only get the leg shot. Poison getting the better of him. 2 rounds in a row right here. That's a big start right now for Windigo. We do move on to Dust 2 as map number 2.
Flash will come out. Numbers already favoring Windigo.
They want the AWP. Lots of utility dump just to pick up the big green and give it to Shox to potentially have a crack with, and now they corral themselves back towards the inner bomb site. Walking slow and steady.
Team talk in the showers. Wee. Push, push.
I don't normally urinate in the shower, Alex, but...
Bloody comedian. He's here all week, folks. That's Sponge on Twitter. Give him a follow. It's the only thing that makes him happy. They start their descent. I got faked out by Shox' movement, but here they come. The legs and the lineup. Oh, it's perfect from Ships. You can't really ask for more than that. The round's locked in, a 3rd found, and we have Windigo on 21. I think I was right, Chad.
Yeah, you were just 1 round ahead. You're from the future.
No, I was right.
Your future, Alex.
Both teams needed 2. Am I still tripping out? No, I'm right. To win.
Yeah.
They needed 2. Last round. That's correct.
That's not what I thought you said.
God, I'm second guessing myself. I'm doing the maths on my fingers. I'm like, dude, I'm almost certain my brain's not that broken. So now Windigo looking to close this one out. They have a match point. Same rinse and repeat default strategy from G2. Will this be their downfall? This time a run boost thrown in. And no one holding the active line. smoke deployed as they did it. Just kind of makes the whole thing redundant. Aggressive smoke and pushed ahead. Blocker trying to keep his compatriots safe from Ivy. In the meantime, you notice that the CTs have gone for a very default 3-2 split.
I think we're really seeing, you know, what the newest edition and the lack of time they've had to practice is showing on one of their weaker maps, right? So for G2 here, their T-side depth, it's like a swimming pool for kids. It's like 2 feet high, and they've got their floaties
but like
on.
disturbingly warm. You're like, is this deliberate? Is this the kids? Is there pee in this pool? And right now, well, the Bulgarians, they're peeing in G2's pool, that's for sure. Bubble, he gets another. Ships is there, and this one is as good as over. Amanek gets a consolation frag, but Windigo pick up a huge win. They take trade, they take a lead in the series, and they keep doing it. Every team has felt the wrath of Windigo in their group.
And we can hear they're relatively happy with that map victory.